Welcome back to Big Picture Investing. I'm Robin's World Cup trading champion, Kevin McCormack, and we have started off with a choppy 2 weeks to start November. As many of you know, this is my favorite time of year to trade. I think the last 2 months are the most profitable time of year for a trader. And despite this start to November, I don't believe there's an AI bubble out there. And I think we are set up for the year-end rally to start next week. Why do I believe that? Well, I think this area of consolidation was good for us. But there's also this little company called Nvidia that's reporting earnings Wednesday. That is 7 to 8% of the S&P 500, and I think that is going to be the catalyst that allows this market to start moving higher. So with that said, let's take a look at what the charts are telling us going into next week.
Okay, I'm going to start off by taking a look at the overall market with the S&P 500. Why I thought we were going to have a choppy start to November, one of the reasons was we hit these exhaustion levels. Combo 13 from DeMark nailed this perfectly to top in the S&P 500 on October 29th. That started the decline. We went down perfectly into the propulsion level that was predicted and bounced. And I thought possibly last Friday may have been the end of this decline. We had held the trend line. And then this week we started to bounce. But as many people know, the talk about the AI bubble and other nonsense from people that are chasing performance at the end of the year pushed the market back down again. And then this Friday, just like last week, we came down, hit the propulsion level and bounced again. And this trend line that's been intact going back to August is still in place. This is an important area for us coming into this week. If we move below this, especially after the Nvidia earnings on Wednesday, then I will look at changing my opinion in the market going forward. But as long as we hold these key levels and bounce this week, I think we're going to be on our way to new highs, pushing towards 700 or 7,000, depending on what you're trading, in the S&P 500. Now let's take a look at the NASDAQ and the QQQ. As you would expect, since a lot of the talk has been about an AI bubble, the tech-heavy NASDAQ had a much larger decline than the S&P 500. But why I like to look at these areas of possible pullback is it allows me to know what could be coming in the future so we don't freak out like some people have this week about what's going on in the market. And what you see here as well, combo 13 on the 28th, perfect there as well. Propulsion levels were called, and you can see here we had that bigger decline and didn't really have that Friday bounce as well. We cleared the first momentum down level that first week in November. Last Friday, we came down into this area where we expect a bounce, and we got it. Same thing as the S&P 500, a little bit of a rally this week, and then, deja vu again. This Friday, we came down to these same levels, held these very important levels in the QQQ as well, and rallied on Friday. As well, as I'm recording this Friday evening, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway disclosed a position in Google, which has also pushed Google and the QQQ higher after hours today. So what are we expecting for next week? Propulsion has already given us an upside target. We're going to blow through this, in my opinion, on by Wednesday after the Nvidia earnings, and then we'll be back at new highs. Is a short-term prediction there. Like I've said before, I expect the year-end rally to start this coming week, and I think that catalyst will be Nvidia. So let's take a look at the Nvidia chart heading into their earnings this Wednesday. Nvidia, we don't have as many technical setups. The DeMark indicators didn't label it for any exhaustion like it did the broader market. But the important thing to keep in mind here, and this is what really blows me away with this sell-off, I think we're getting a gift in Nvidia and some of these other stocks we're going to discuss. This rally right here was when Nvidia had their conference and highlighted they had 500 billion in revenue booked for the next 12 to 15 months for their AI solutions. All the analysts are below that number in their estimates. And so we got a big rally, but this rally did not hold. As I've already mentioned a few times, and we've all heard, now we're all worried about the AI bubble. Nothing is wrong with Nvidia's business. They're going to beat earnings on Wednesday. They're going to raise. It's going to be a good earnings report. The market reaction is what's going to be important. What I'm expecting to happen is great earnings on Wednesday. We are going to rally up and make new highs, which is a great trading opportunity for anyone out there. I'd be looking for and taking buy signals Nvidia because I am expecting at least a 10% move over the next couple weeks. One of the areas that I like to use as a tell about what's going on with the AI build out is Taiwan Semiconductor. How do I use Taiwan Semiconductor as a tell? Because Taiwan Semiconductor reports monthly sales. So you can get a look at what is going on with Nvidia, AMD. All these companies are using Taiwan Semiconductor to produce their chips. Well, for the October month, they reported record sales, the highest sales they have ever had. And I expect to keep seeing that for the rest of this quarter. But it's like I said, it gives us a nice tell. If we start to see a slowdown in revenue on a monthly basis at Taiwan Semiconductor, that could be a small red flag for us to keep an eye on things. But same deal here. Taiwan Semiconductor, I think this is a gift myself out there. You can't make AI chips, and this whole industry is not going to happen without them. So look for this to rally next week as well. Now, the big one that kind of kicked off this last leg of the AI rally and now pullback is Oracle. This is a chart that's just unbelievable to look at right now. What we have here is this huge gap that occurred after their earnings in September. And everyone chased it up here. Some people came in and bought, but as you can see here, we've had selling and it has accelerated and is now pulled back. It is trading lower now than it did before the earnings conference call when they highlighted they're going to develop all these data centers for AI. But that's the fundamental piece. From a technical perspective, we have pulled back and now bounced on Friday exactly almost to the penny where we would expect Oracle to have support. This is the absolute retracement level. You've seen this in some of my other videos. I always highlight these absolute retracements. When you draw them on the chart, you say to yourself, we're never going to pull back to that level. Here's another example. We had that retracement level. We have support here. I think Oracle is another one that if you missed it before and you want to get into this one, this is a gift if you're interested in owning Oracle because they're going to have earnings here in a couple more weeks and they're going to tell us a good story again. And you're going to bounce off these levels, in my opinion. Last thing I want to end with for this week's update is Coherent. As you all know, this is one of my largest positions. We had stellar earnings, great outlook. That allowed us to break out from these areas, but the gap up after earnings also triggered the DeMark 13 buying exhaustion. And now we have pulled back right into the propulsion levels that was calling for a pullback. And so this is just a healthy consolidation and Coherent before, in my opinion, it starts to make its move higher. Just as a note, everyone, you can go back and see the video. I highlighted when we had this silly earnings decline over here. Actually, that's the April decline. I said this is a great buying opportunity. We would hold this line. And then once we broke this double top, we were off to the races. And that's exactly what has happened. I think Coherent is still a great investment out there. But from a trading perspective, this week, it is all about Nvidia earnings on Wednesday. It is going to drive the broader market and, of course, the AI trade that's out there. Don't miss out on your opportunity. I believe the year-end rally is going to start this week. Good luck with your trading, and I'll see you next time.